Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
This episode of The Weedsman is brought to you by Budsy. Budsy is a cannabis tech company focused on delivering you the high you're looking for through AI.
Download our free app and learn more at budsy.io and check out our podcast, Toke and Talk.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthmacore Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
You have smoked yourself retarded.
here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
This is number 208. I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
Oh, and Rob's in Florida.
Yeah, I should. I'm so used to saying it that way that, like, I should have said I'm Aaron, right?
Yes.
And I'm Aaron.
Yeah.
Like, very final version of that.
Yeah.
I kind of left it open like there was still going to be a third person. No, Rob's living it up in Florida.
Yeah. His yearly visits. And yeah, no third.
Probably watching the royal wedding with his mom.
Oh, right.
I think.
We'll have Justin from World Championship Radio sitting in with us next week, but that's all you get this week.
But now it's just the two of us.
Have you watched the royal wedding? Like Rob and his mom?
Well, I'm on Twitter, so it's kind of hard to avoid it.
Like, this is like number one on a list of things I could give like no fucks about at all.
Right.
Tear done.
And everyone's got a story
I
on
care
it.
less about this than I do about the show Suits.
NPR had a radio story about it, and they were sitting in with this bunch of old ladies. I don't know. Well, they're not old ladies, but a bunch of middle-aged ladies that were squealing like they were seeing the Beatles live over, like, him, like, the first shot of
Dude, like this subject makes you realize
the
how
dude
many.
with the red hair, like, looking handsome. Hey, he's
Harry?
not a bad-looking guy.
This subject makes you realize how many drops we do not have about saying who cares,
That's right.
who gives a shit. Like, oh, this is like, and I'm so happy. Mandy gives no fucks about this either. She probably doesn't even have an idea what's going on.
I don't know why.
Like, I have friends who's like, my one buddy's texting me like, oh, my girlfriend's been watching this all day and I've been in the garage drinking. And it's, it's, who cares? Like, England doesn't even care about it anymore. I heard something like, I think
Oh yeah, the
2/3
U.S.
of England gives no shits.
Right. It is kind of interesting, our fascination with royalty.
I think it's just because one of us is marrying an American is marrying a royal. That's probably we probably give a fuck about it more.
I could almost understand if it was this fascination, like following your ex on Facebook, like possibly delighting.
She is divorced, so I mean, there is one guy out there going, "Well, son of a bitch."
No, I don't mean on a personal. I mean with the royalty in general, America's
Yeah.
fascination with them. Because if this was like, oh look, the royals are getting fat,
Yeah,
you know, like kind of Schadenfreude fascination with them, but like it's downright adoration. Like we don't. The British press is really snotty about them and will
Yeah.
like totally tear them apart when they do something stupid like we do to Trump. And we are just like always sympathetic. I don't understand the sympathy. I mean, maybe part of it's because it's kind of safe, right? I mean, it's not like they're a threat. It's not like they're going to one day go, you know what? Let's revisit this whole Revolutionary War thing. I think we can have a different outcome. Not like that would ever happen.
yeah.
But they're not looking to take us over, and they're not looking to take anyone over. They're happy sitting in their castles and being promenaded around like
Yeah,
show ponies. And
They're happy being
I don't know.
figureheads at this point.
And as royalty goes, I know he gets a lot of slack for being like, what, fifth, sixth in line for the throne and being a redhead.
The Duke
he's
of
not
Sussex.
bad. He's
That's
not-
going to be his new title, and she's going to be the Duchess of Sussex.
He kind of looks like if Seth Green had a twin brother that got all the good genes.
Yeah, I know, right?
And he did
He
all
likes
right.
that dark meat, apparently.
Medium.
Putting some brown in the royal bloodline. She is biracial.
That's true. This is like the UK's Obama, moment, right?
I know, right?
This is historic.
So they now have a black friend.
This is the most black any royalty has been, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's like, probably a lord or somewhere. I don't know what they have. Those are like you don't have to be born into it or marry into it. You're just like, we like you and you have a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Or knights, like, good job landing that plane or making that rock song. Here you go.
I know, right?
No, there had to have been some heads that actually cared.
Well, I think Oprah's there.
The Oprah, oh yeah, and she smoked. But it's not that.
I think Oprah's getting high at the royal wedding.
That's going to be when, she's going to introduce Gail to it for the first time.
At the royal wedding. Like, listen, we're going to have to be how to deal with this shit. It's going to be an awful lot of white people in one place at one time. Oprah baby, the only black person there.
Oh, no.
They got the bride. So there's two.
They were married by a black.
Oh, three. A black
dude. No, I didn't. No, stop. I didn't. There was a pregnant pause, yes, but it was only because I was unclear how I wanted to finish it. But I didn't mean for it to be a black period. But no, there was actually a strain to celebrate them.
Oh, Marco Sparkle or some shit like that.
Is that what it's called?
I'm not joking.
That kind of sounds dirty, doesn't it?
Her nephew. It sounds like a movie you'd make on her, or that she gives to you. It's the name of her pussy.
Did you see some jewelry company had online this piece of jewelry that was modeled after. Basically, they took a diamond that was resting in the crook of between somebody's fingers, right, kind of between the knuckles, but down. You'd have to in a little slot created when you keep your fingers together. And then took just like that portion of it, like this oval part, so you don't really see all the fingers or anything. It's not really clear when you look at it that it's like a pair of fingers. Mm-hmm. You just kind of see like down to where the knuckle is, and a little diamond just sitting right there, and it looks like a vagina with a diamond clit.
Interesting.
Like, gosh. I'm trying to think of how I could Google it so I could show you.
Diamond vagina?
Because the vagina jewelry is going to, yeah.
Vagina diamond?
Yeah, that's getting me nowhere.
Oh, excuse me, you have a surf state, John.
Oh, no. It's definitely not that reason.
Well,
there's plenty on here, just not specifically. Well, anyway. Now I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, it sounds dirty.
Markle Sparkle?
Markle Sparkle. What is it?
It's her own patented sex move.
Tyler Dooley. So he's Meghan Markle's nephew?
Allegedly.
What does that make him? The Duke of Cannabis?
Yeah. The dick of cannabis.
See,
some royal guy's putting it to my aunt. That's what it makes him.
Previously announced he would be developing a potent hybrid named Markle Sparkle. I guess, but
royal weed.
Because you wanted something to rhyme with their last name. I mean, Sparkle's it's neither a common nor descriptive in any way term for cannabis.
Not anymore. Yet. Damn it.
He says he hasn't spoken to her in 3 years, but thinks Markle's stance on weed would be progressive.
Well, yeah, he's part black. He's from Hollywood. I'm sure some weed has found its way across her lips.
She was an actress, right?
Yes.
What was she in? I don't remember seeing her.
She's on the show Suits.
Oh, that's why. The $150 an ounce strain is tipped to be good for helping alleviate insomnia. Is that
not that good for $150 an ounce?
It's tipped? What does that mean? I
don't even know what that means.
Pain, anxiety, especially engineered so it doesn't make users feel too hungry.
I don't know what the fuck you just said, little kid.
It's especially engineered to not be.
$150 an ounce can't be that good.
Well, first of all,
I'm just saying it.
Like, usually, yeah, okay, it's pretty common to get the munchies on weed, but not everybody gets it to the same degree. It's kind of a subjective experience. I don't know how much you could breed that out of.
Well, it'll depend on the strain you're smoking, too. Some make you hungrier than others.
I don't know. Maybe you can.
There's some strains where I'm having Grubhub come to the house 3 times a day.
I guess there's strains that give me the munchies, and then there's a few every now and then that'll really like empty out the pantry. I'm just making anything I can think of.
Fuck it. I'm just going to put it all together in one pot, save myself some time.
Sometimes that works.
It does.
So it's very sweet, silky taste with notes of fresh blueberry and a unique fruity and smooth flavor. Sure it is. If you're going to name it after a duchess, right? Is that what she
Duchess
is?
of Sussex.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, it can't be the dank shit. You're not going to do. Well, first of all, in England, skunk is like not a good thing, right?
I believe so. I've never been there.
Like skunk is what they describe bad weed to be. Where I would think, like the more potent the aroma, I would think the more potent the. I know it's not always the case, but it seems to be relatively equivalent. That you would have a more potent smell and a more potent strain.
Generally. Although when I was growing up, skunk weed was a derogatory. Like, you would think that the skunk would be a good thing. So, like, I'm with you on the way of thinking. Say, back in the day, skunk weed was bad. Now maybe it's crossed over.
All right, Leafly's got a story on where it came from. Oh boy, they're kind of milking this one. It's important to take in order to understand the meaning behind the word, it's important to take a step back and look at the etymology of the word skunk. Is it? Or can I just scroll down? The word skunk is also commonly used in the United Kingdom, but there the term has taken on a new life and is far more popularly... Can you say that word? Popular... Just gonna crap out at the R. Popularly used in a different context. When media in the United Kingdom speak about skunk, they mean all high THC cannabis varieties, regardless of their genetic heritage. So they are. It is a positive term.
Gotcha.
To be skunky in the UK, where your experience is that you would call. Why would skunk be like bad?
I don't know.
This is a thing to call weed, and then it was like, well, skunks are bad, right?
It's definitely bad for beer.
True. Some smokers, skunk has simply become another generic word for cannabis. What are we doing?
Skunk Anarchy.
I didn't know they did a cover of this.
Pretty faithful cover.
I mean, sure. So there was a news report on, what was the news report on? About a cannabis cottage.
Did their neighbours know that in this quiet corner, this quiet pretty little corner in the Kent countryside, the cottage just over my shoulder as well, there had been growing cannabis.
Okay,
Okay,
so
we gotta say what happened.
Yes.
Oh.
So it was a news report about a place where they were growing cannabis in this home, I guess. And as he's reporting, you see a guy come out from behind the house with a plant.
And Yvette Hartley had been
And
growing.
he turns and gestures too to the house.
Did their neighbours
and sees him right away, and the guy just takes off running with the plant.
The cottage over my shoulder is where there had been growing.
All right.
Hey, hats off to that. The reporter does not break stride.
Yeah, man, he didn't skip a fucking beat.
He turns to gesture to the house and sees the man running with the plant and doesn't even blink. That guy was a straight up pro. Oh, the home was a cottage. That's why they're referring to it. They had 88 plants in that house. That does not look like a big house. It does not look like it has a basement either. I wouldn't think a cottage by definition had a basement.
So see if does this match up?
That's exactly it.
It actually kind of does.
I wasn't like.
Let me rewind.
He kind of strolls out from behind the house, like very satisfied with himself. That man is stealing now, like, evidence from a crime scene. That is a higher crime that he's facing than if he just walked in and stole somebody's plant.
I think they put that music bed in when they showed the clip on the 11 o'clock. Like, hey, why not? We're England. Fuck it.
He was there to score, and he was like, hello?
What they don't show
anybody here?
The B-roll is of a chick with a bikini top running after that guy coming back out.
Yeah, the reporter starts chasing him. The cops chasing him.
Yeah.
They're going around in circles.
Yes. They go into a butcher shop, and then out of the door next door.
They go into a butcher shop.
Come out of a candle shop.
Come out of the back door of the butcher shop like everyone's eating sausage.
Yeah.
They got like a string of the sausage, where it's all roped together.
I love how that guy is not going to split without his plant.
He's got.
I'm getting the fuck out of here, but I'm taking my plant with me.
He goes past a coffee shop and like all these hippies pour out and start running after him, picking up the weed as it falls.
Yeah.
No word in the story as to whether they caught the guy who was seen with the.
Well, he got out of there. His face was blurred, so they obviously didn't catch him.
Well, it was blurred for broadcast. Who knows if they showed the police that? But both the homeowners of the cottage got 22 months in jail.
Except that guy who got the fuck out of there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't seem to be one of the homeowners. He just showed up looking to score. Was like, I'll just dip with one of these plants. Nobody's here. Or he was an off-duty cop that came back. He's like, let's not.
With the bus, these guys. I'm gonna take this.
Let's not lock this shit up in evidence tonight. We got all day tomorrow to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is why I like Vice. They really know how to dig a little deeper and get to the bottom of a story. Like, why on earth did the woman in Tim Hortons throw her feces at an employee? This is their headline.
Because she's awesome. End of story.
We finally know why the angry Tim Hortons pooper pooped.
Why is that?
Well, you see the video, right? There's
Yes.
no audio to it. So this woman's obviously having some sort of verbal altercation with an employee at Tim Hortons. And there's a lot of like gesturing and finger wagging. And then she steps back, leans against the wall, pulls down her pants, her yoga pants or whatever she's wearing, stretch pants, and starts shitting. And then picks it up and whips it at the guy. Like, she did it like it was no thing. Like she had done this before, right? I mean,
Yeah, it was pretty clean. It's like she had practice.
it's pretty clean. Like, well, I guess we're going to find out from this Voice story. But, some backmasking. What was going on there?
It's called Hot Poop by Frank Zappa.
Was there a subliminal message implanted in my head?
Yes.
I would have to imagine that their argument was about having to use the bathroom right now before I shit my pants.
Yeah.
Right?
Or, hey, you know what this coffee tasted like? Hey, I had to do breakfast sandwich. This is what I think of it.
Turns out that the Timmy's employee... turns out the employee wouldn't let her use the washroom, and she really, really had to go. Okay, so I was right. Which probably explains why she was able to poop so quickly. Tim Hortons' washroom policy is that anyone can use it. You don't have to be a customer, but that, in some franchises, employees have the right or employees have to give you a key or buzz you into the toilet at their discretion. What is wrong with these joggers? This is all joggers. You can't plan out your day. You're not regular enough by now.
You can't take your shit before you jog?
Or something. But right, it was, remember the one jogger woman that was always shitting in the same place?
She was the phantom pooper.
Then we had, I don't think we talked about this one on the show, but it wasn't even the coach, it was the
superintendent.
The superintendent.
Taking his hot D's.
The Super Nintendo that was dumping on the field every morning. Because he was going out there for a run.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I've never had this happen to me, but, apparently running makes you have to shit. Hello?
I got a Facebook comment during a broadcast. Apparently that's what happens. You have Facebook open and you get a comment. Thanks, Zuckerberg.
Is that a new tone? Is that part of their rebranding?
I guess so. Thanks for ruining the show, Zuckerberg.
It's time for Facebook to get back to what they were really meant for. Rating chicks that you went to college with. Wasn't that the original thing?
Stalking your ex-girlfriend.
Well, yeah, that too.
Or boyfriends.
Okay, I think I'm good with that. I'm going to smoke myself into a fucking coma over here. So this was some power tripping employee. Right? I mean, why?
Yeah. Let him use the shitter, man.
What is the deal?
Yeah, it ain't a homeless person looking to tie off. She's obviously got to take a dump.
She's not there to shower or shoot up.
Yeah.
So that's your stance? That's the hill that you're going to die on?
Hey, well, you got shit thrown at you. Oh, it was worth it. Someone took a dump and threw it at you.
What city was this in?
And Tim Hortons has to be super thrilled right now that it's probably the first thing that comes up when you Google them. Yeah, there it is.
A woman furiously shits on the floor.
I want to know this woman's blood alcohol level, though. I gotta wonder. Is there wine in that water bottle?
It's not impossible. She's out for a jog. But if she's some functional alcoholic... if she is...
Langley, British Columbia.
See...
I mean, that's going to be a famous location, though. Tim Hortons with that chick through the dump. Took a dump and threw it.
I mean, I guess.
And hey, Canada, good job. I was for sure this was a U.S. citizen.
Oh, yeah.
Nope. Canada, you got us in crazy.
Well, we'll see.
We got some work to... Hey, Donald Trump was right. Remember when we used to be number one in everything? We're not even number one in being nuts. This should have happened in L.A. or New York.
In today's 24-hour news cycle, as they say, we'll see how long this one really lasts. I mean, if British Columbia is now, it's to be seen yet if British Columbia will be known as the capital of middle-aged women joggers who shit in Tim Hortons. Whether that will...
And then throw it. You have to include that. That's the most important part.
Or whether its notoriety as the pepperoni capital.
No, that was Nova
Canada.
Scotia, wasn't it?
Oh, right. He was from British Columbia, wasn't he?
He had done that Nova Scotian pepperoni.
He had to travel from British Columbia to Nova Scotia. I don't know my Canadian geography that well. But that's, in my defense, it's only ever identified in the map as one huge landmass. It just says Canada across
I know, right? It's got a maple leaf.
Did you hear about Estonia?
No. Tell me about it.
They adopted a new flag.
It's got weed on it?
It does.
Really?
It absolutely does. So, Google Estonia flag. So Estonian. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this isn't all of Estonia. This is a town called Kanepi?
Spell that shit.
Kanepi. Maybe that will come up, or I'll have to send you this link.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there it is. So it wasn't all of Estonia. That would have been more fun. Because then you could, have limericks about there once was a man from Estonia.
Who liked to get stoned.
Well, yeah, somewhere.
So-
in there. Blah blah blah.
You got any weed?
That's right. Excellent. We're gonna get hired by. Wait, don't tell me. That's a NPR show where they do limericks.
Oh, whose town name literally means cannabis?
Is that why?
Yes.
So they were known for it.
Located in southern Estonia. Canopy.
Is
Highly unusual name is rooted in a traditional cottage industry that sprang up around the processing of hemp into oil and fabric centuries ago.
That's right. I was reading a story about how it used to grow naturally across Europe. Let's see, from the Independent, cannabis used to grow wild in Europe, but went extinct before first farmers arrived. Research finds. Well, it couldn't have gone. I mean, well, maybe it just migrated south, to the Middle East. Maybe that's what happened. It went extinct in that area.
The brown
It
people
didn't-
take care of it.
It didn't go extinct, obviously.
No, Estonia, if
We
you-
didn't have to Jurassic Park weed into existence.
Yeah. But I think Estonia is kind of in northern, like if I remember my geography
Northern.
correctly, northern, like you get near Scandinavia, that kind of area.
Right, that's what I thought too. I think my European geography is about as good as my Canadian one. Maybe a little bit better, because I know that there's different parts.
Yeah, there we go. Right across the sea from Finland.
It's right up there by Latvia.
Yeah.
Well, they must have brought it back up from the Middle East, because it was definitely not growing anymore when people were farming.
Stoned in Estonia, man.
That's what I'm saying. Kenepi. How is it pronounced? Do you have a pronunciation for it? Canepi? Cane pie? Canopy?
Wait, go away, John Mellencamp.
Mellencamp?
Mellencamp. Hold on.
Kanepi.
Canopy.
Kanepi.
Oh, and there's cannabis.
Kanepi.
Cannabis.
Yeah, I knew that
Canopy.
one.
Kanepi.
Is this one of those puzzles? It sounds like Laurel to me.
Kanepi.
Well, I keep hearing.
Cannabis.
I hear this.
Kanepi.
That was another so what story this week, by the
Oh
way.
my
That was
God.
another who fucking cares. NBC News reported on it. At least in their Facebook feed.
I
It's like,
know.
wow. Remember when you talked about important shit?
And you know, it turns out that the people who heard Yanni just have hearing damage in their lower end range.
Sweet. Good to know. Because I did not hear Laurel.
If you... If,
It will make sense. I was in bands for a while.
right. See, it sounded like
Can't
Laurel
have-
to me.
I can't have no damage.
Are we gonna, you heard Yanni?
Sure did.
Okay, play it. I have...
God damn.
Let's do it. Because if you filter out the low frequencies, it does kind of sound like it.
Well, now I hear Laurel.
I heard Yanni at first.
No, that's all I hear is Laurel. See, I heard it on a podcast, and I heard Yanni. All I could hear was Yanni.
So were you listening through your phone?
No, I was listening in the car.
Okay.
So my hearing's not damaged.
Like, yeah, if you just listen to the higher frequencies of it, I like how the mouse click is in there too. Like, they didn't loop it. They're just like, let's take a video of me, like a phone video of my computer while I mouse click on the play button.
Yanni and Laurel on the fall schedule for one of the networks.
So, what were we talking about?
That
Europe?
town.
Oh, yeah. So it used to grow wild there. According to the Vegetation History and Archaeobotany.
What?
I think studying ancient plants, they concluded that ancient pollen collected from a location where the plants were common, cannabis plants that is, on grassy steppes.
Oh, shit. What happened? What, Whitey move in?
All the dinosaurs
Whitey.
ate it.
fucking dinosaurs, so they all get high and pass out.
However, as the first farmers set foot on the continent from the Middle East around 9,000 years ago, that's right, keep that in mind every time you tell those Packies to go home. Like, that's how you got there, homie. Your ancestors walked all the way up. Around 9,000 years ago, the plant was already beginning to disappear as the continent warmed. So maybe that's why they were able to cultivate it so well in Estonia, in Kenepai, because they did have a colder climate. I didn't know. It seems like most grow ops are rather warm, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how that works, growing cannabis in a cold climate.
Maybe it's temperate.
But according to this, I mean, that it used to grow wild in colder climates.
It's nuts. That crazy, wild, cold cannabis, cold filtered cannabis. It's turned blue to let you know it's ready to smoke.
Yeah, when are we going to get the weed commercials where, like, two guys are getting off work and they're like, it's the weekend, what are we going to do? And then, like, fucking...
Guy just fires up a spliff. Nothing! Shows him just passed out on the couch.
Well, no, like, you have to make it look like it's some sort of party, so they hit it, and as soon as they do, like, chicks in bikinis show up. They, like, parachute down with bongs and shit.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, when alcohol was allowed to advertise to us on TV and tell us, hey, if you drink this,
the song plays.
Chicks just magically show up. Like, I don't know what it is. They hear that beer crack and they're like, is that cold filter?
Oh, yeah. Let me come over and take my top off and watch you get drunk.
That weird schlub that tries to spy on me.
Yeah, well, now I want to fuck you because you're drinking that beer.
He's got Miller Lite.
Yeah. Got the good
that
shit.
means not only is like the party, he likes to take care of himself too.
Yeah.
You know? Watching out for that waistline and mine.
What a beautiful girl.
So we've yet to hear in Michigan yet what's going to happen if the legislature is actually going to pass legalization of cannabis for adults recreationally in Michigan, or whether they're going to let it go to the voters.
Well, they issued any goddamn permits yet?
No, I don't think there's been any major progress on the permits. So we're still about a month out as we record this from seeing what happens when all but a handful of dispensaries are asked to shut down until their permit is approved. But there was an organization that actually came out in support of cannabis legalization, and it's kind of curious because their name is the Committee to Keep Pot Out of Neighborhoods and Schools, which is fine and one of those things that you can't really argue with, right?
I know.
It's not like there was a committee to put pot in schools and neighborhoods.
It's like if your organization's name is Save the Babies.
Right.
You can't be like,
Wait a
well,
minute.
fuck the babies.
But our organization is Committee to Put Pot Inside My Body, right?
Yeah.
Whichever way seems fit.
Yes.
Not spread it around.
Let's do it. It's a name you can't argue with.
Right. They're actually petitioning the legislature to take action on this, hoping that they will have more conservative restrictions over what can happen with cannabis. So rather than write up a proposal, have the people vote on it, I mean, in most cases we've seen, like, it's not, you don't have a clearly laid out plan. You have guidelines that you vote on. Do you want it to be legal for adults, yes or no? It's the basic question that people are asking. You're not being asked, do you want it to be taxed for this or that, or do you want it to be kept away from schools? That's all figured out by some committee that's appointed afterward. But this group's hope is that the legislature can put together a plan on their own to decide how far away from a school do we want it, or how many in 1 square mile area are you allowed to have.
They're being proactive about it. They're also accepting the inevitability. They're going, all right, we're just accept that this is going to happen, so let's decide where we want it.
And that's exactly it. Mark Fisk, who is a spokesman for this committee, is quoted as saying, "The committee was initially formed to defeat the recreational ballot proposal, but now we believe that the legislature should amend and adopt the initiative before it's too late." Going on to say that marijuana legalization will be a reality in Michigan. Initiatives have been approved in 29 states, and polling has been very strong. regardless of our feelings on the issue, the question is how to regulate and control recreational marijuana. He is absolutely talking about this like it's going to happen. And this is someone who is a committee spokesperson for, what was it again? Keep pot out of our neighborhoods and petting dogs is fun.
We don't like fun, so you shouldn't either.
Committee to keep pot out of neighborhoods and schools and not kill babies. This is interesting. Here's the political side of it. This is in the Free Press. Republicans in the state Senate are trying to figure out a way to take up the marijuana legislation, in part to keep it off the November ballot, because it is expected to drive more voters to the polls. They're already afraid that there might be a blue wave coming, and Michigan is a kind of purple state anyway.
Sure is.
So if they want more Republicans to stay in office, they got to keep issues that will drive liberals to the polls off the ballot completely. So this is a way for conservatives to control the issue, organizations like this one to keep it out of neighborhoods and schools. And this is the same proposal that we were talking about like last week or the week before, where they're looking to bundle it with a reduction in the sales tax in the state. That's part of their sell to the Republicans. Hey, you can run on a major tax break by reducing the sales tax down to what, 4%. There's 4 point something. I don't know how
420, man.
Oh yeah.
4.2.
Oh wait, 4.25. Almost 420. They should have. They should have made it the 420 tax bill.
Missed
That's something you can sell to both sides.
I know, right? Missed opportunity, Michigan legislature.
The Dems are like, well, I really don't like all the language in here, but I can't see this voting no on the 420 bill.
I know, right? My constituents are going to know. No, they're not, man. Unless you have a taco, they don't give a fuck. Unless this initiative gives them a taco, they don't give a fuck.
Right. So, Republicans in Michigan, and I'm sure this is happening in other areas too, are saying, just give them their weed as long as they don't, it almost makes sense, right? If they want to have legalized weed and they're going to stay away from the polls if we give it to them, then fine. Let them smoke their pot and watch their TV shows and we'll go on running the country. That's what these Republicans are ultimately thinking.
And good, fine. We're fine if you want to think that way.
Right, because it's not going to happen. I'm still going to vote.
Yeah.
I may be high, but I'm not that high.
Yeah. I'm not so high I'm going to forget to vote to get high.
Or stop voting in my own interests.
Yeah.
Just because I'm high. I'll go to the polls high. I mean, fuck it. Sometimes it's a long line.
Oh, I've been at the polls high all the time.
Totally.
Half the time I'm getting high in the parking lot at the polls.
Right. Yeah, what's going to happen? You're going to fuck up and vote for the wrong person?
Yeah. Oh, shit, I just voted for Donald Trump 29 times.
Come out like, I've got a hanging Chad on my ballot. She's like, sir, that's a Scantron. You're not supposed to punch any holes in it.
What'd you do to that pen? I somehow just voted for Al Gore. He's not even on the ballot.
The executive director of Healthy and Productive Michigan, it's another one of those things that's hard to argue with, says that his name also is Scott Greenlee. Come on, man. You're betraying your own name here. He says, we are still 100% against it. We don't think the legislature should approve it, and I don't think the voters should approve it. Well, you don't think the voters should approve it, but you should understand that the voters are going to approve it, right?
Yeah, man. You have no fucking choice.
I mean, we certainly have a greater variance in our polls than we understood in the post-Trump era, but it doesn't swing that wide.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking damn near 70% polling in favor of legalization, of recreational legalization.
Yeah.
They have till June 5th, so this is coming up soon.
Damn. Figure that shit out.
We might find out that we're getting legal weed in this state sooner than we thought. But who knows? Yeah. November's not that far away. And maybe we don't want the Republicans putting together this plan, you know? I mean, look, again, you can't argue with keeping it away from schools and whatever else they listed on there, hospitals and small animals.
Children.
Right. I mean, that's ultimately...
Short people.
Well,
albinos.
There was... where was it? Okay. So there was a story about, in The Guardian, how there's a surge of kids smoking pot, which this goes against what we've been hearing all this time, right? Ever since we've been doing this show, every poll that we've looked at about teenagers smoking pot, it's gone down. You know, other things may be going up. They're getting more drunk, doing more PCP or whatever the fuck. But pot, that's grandpa's drug, like whatever. You know, yeah, when I'm coming down off my Molly, maybe.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, this study says that people between age 12 and 21 who first tried cigarettes. Are they talking about marijuana cigarettes? The proportion of those who tried cigarettes as their first drug fell from about 21 to just under 9% between 2004 and 2014. However, the proportion who turned to marijuana almost doubled from 4.8 to 8%. Well, here's another possibility. I mean, maybe they're just more open about talking about it. You know, it's kind of in question when you're polling
marijuana in their vapes.
You're polling teens on whether they do drugs and what drugs they do, right?
Yeah.
You can't see it on the podcast, but my eyebrows going up. Like, really, you think you're going to get a straight answer from all these?
Yeah.
So you have to weigh all your facts about
once an hour.
And when they know that, you know, maybe they would admit to doing something like alcohol because it's legal and kind of easier to get your hands on and doesn't have that illegal stigma to it like other drugs do. Whereas lie about doing other drugs like marijuana or something else.
Crank.
Or maybe they are. I don't know. Who knows? We know
so whatever.
We know it's not good for teenagers to do it. And they do. Well, there was another
they're
study
teenagers. They're going to do what teenagers do, man.
Leafly had a story about how they believe that the advertisements are causing kids to do it. The fact that it's on billboards is causing kids to think that it's no big deal.
Oh, like it is no big deal?
Well,
they're fine with putting
but
Hennessy and Bud Light on the billboard.
No, they don't anymore. You can't advertise alcohol on billboards anymore.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought I was still seeing that shit.
No, I'm really racking my brain, and I believe that still stands. That you can't advertise alcohol on billboards and anyway. I mean, we have restrictions on it, right? And we'll eventually see that. The idea that they're advertising for, you know, if you're not going to let alcohol advertise on billboards, why would you let cannabis advertise on billboards?
You know, out west it is pretty crazy seeing that. Weed billboards. And it's not like, hey, smoke some weed. It's for dispensaries.
Right. And it's not blatant it's not like some guy with dreads and one of those multicolored knit hats on, puffing on a huge blunt.
Yeah.
Well, Weed Maps advertises in our area, as I'm sure they do many major cities. And you've probably seen them. They've got an electronic billboard on 94 that flashes facts like opioid abuse has gone down.
I have seen that.
In states where legal marijuana is available. And stats about traffic accidents. I mean, a lot of the things that we've been talking about on this show. Which is interesting. I mean, if you're at all interested in these, are stories that you can find everywhere. But who was it? The new DEA chief. I think the one sane guy. You remember the recovered addict that was heading it up for a little while? He was an acting chief. And before that, it was
Loretta Lynch,
Lionetti.
No, wait, that's Attorney General.
Yeah. What was it?
Michelle What was the name? Lioness. Lionheart.
Lionheart, yeah. Leo. What was the guy from Thundercats' name? Lion-O. Yeah, definitely not that.
Lionheart.
Did you see the artwork for the new Thundercats reboot?
No.
You should take a look at it. People were rather upset with it. If you're a fan of the original, which was very, I guess you would say, anime styled, this looks a lot more like Adventure Time type of wacky cartoon.
Wait, what? Huh?
Cartoon Network's bringing back the Thundercats.
No.
And they're going on wacky adventures.
Oh, this works. Gay! No, absolutely not. With this artwork, absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not interested.
It could be worth watching. Who knows? But I have a feeling it's going to turn out to be like Gumball.
Well, it looks like the same cartoon studio that does Gumball does it.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? Well, Steven Universe is, and actually, it's a really good show, and one of those where it's good on in both respects, as far as adult watching and kid watching. It's something that an adult can watch and enjoy, and also not feel kind of weird that their kids are laughing at it too, even though they might not get some of the references that go into like an Adventure Time or what's the regular show.
Yeah.
They'll do some jokes that are kind of on the border of like, it's almost risque. Like, that's really kind of raunchy for a kid's show, but it's only because it's a reference that kids aren't going to know at all.
But this looks fucking stupid.
This looks like it's just going to be wacky. A lot of yelling as humor. That's a kid thing. I think if you just talk really loud and fast.
Yeah.
And overreact to everything, that's funny. Wait, what were we talking about? The DEA chief. You know, the Drug Enforcement Agency.
Yes.
It's got drug right in its name. You should probably know some stuff about drugs.
About this new chief.
So he was before some House Judiciary Committee talking about legalized marijuana, because, you know, this is something that's happening across the states, and this is something that the DEA has to navigate. There's states where it's illegal, and there's states where it is legal, and states where it's only medical. So he's testifying on before this committee. His name's Robert Patterson, by the way. And he attributed many deaths to marijuana, but could offer no information, no facts.
Oh, one of these people?
To back it up.
Neat.
He said that he didn't see the mass incarceration of marijuana users that was referred to in this report. You just didn't see them? Like, what, you don't, we understand that you don't go and visit them, but you must understand that they do exist, that you do arrest people on, your organization puts people in jail over marijuana.
Yes.
So how can you say that you just don't see it? He said he was unaware of the many studies showing that opioid use has dropped in places where marijuana is legal. Like we were just talking about on that Weed Maps billboard. Weed Maps knows this.
Well, I mean, this is a Trump appointee, right?
I don't know. How long has he been running this place? I'm unsure. This is a great one. He does somewhere in here admit that he's open to more studies on marijuana. You know, that's the line that's given when you don't want to say yes to legal marijuana, but you don't want to look like a complete idiot. So you just experts. So you just say that we need to study it more, but also says that marijuana is a Schedule I drug because, quote, of the science. Right. It was science.
Yep, he's a Trump appointee.
It was hard.
Just based on that answer.
Scientific. I mean,
because of the science.
Right. So either you have hard science that it's dangerous or not, or you don't have enough science to tell whether it. You can't have it both ways. You can't say the science says it's dangerous, but I'm open to studying it more because maybe the science is wrong.
Because the science.
It's a paradox. It's Pinocchio's nose growing. Patterson did eventually say he's in favor of more study, although he also said he believes legalized marijuana is contributing to the country's substance abuse problem. Keep in mind this is...
Never mind the doctors handing out opiates like the fucking candy.
Right. This is right after they had a discussion about the numerous reports about opioid abuse going down in areas of legalized cannabis that he had just never seen, had no knowledge of.
Remember, because of the science. It's just going to be my new answer for everything. Because of the science.
Yeah, in this story in the Entrepreneur that I'm reading from, it says overall the number of arrests for marijuana increased 12% to about 653,000 arrests nationwide. FBI numbers did not break out possession versus other charges. Historically, possession of small amounts makes up the majority of marijuana arrests. Detailed study of marijuana arrests between 2001 and 2010 by the ACLU found that 88% of all arrests were for simple possession of marijuana. So 88% of just over 500,000 arrests. That's a pretty significant number of people going, at least being arrested, not going to jail, but being arrested for having a dime bag or something of small personal quantity. And what do you say? Like, oh, we should free up the police, right? This will be they won't have to go after, small-time pot users anymore when we legalize this nationwide. That they will be able to focus on other things like major crimes going on, right? Free them up to do the work they were meant to do, to protect us, not police us. And meanwhile, what do we see with cops? Like, oh, we can't arrest people for possession anymore. So now we have to drum up that it's this big problem of people smoking and driving. Yeah, that's the ticket. Literally, the ticket that I'm going to give you.
Hey, they gotta raise funds.
Yeah.
You gotta play something.
Right. You take that.
I'm telling you.
You take those.
Just keeping down the teleporter.
Those fucking dime bag and aider arrests. You take that away from them. They're not going to supplant that with like really beating the pavement, getting to know any kind of neighborhood. No. First of all, it hasn't changed their quota, which I know they're not supposed to have.
Big oil. The auto companies.
They're going to find another way.
They're all against the teleporter, man.
That's the thing. Like, even though
I'm surprised they're letting this autonomous car thing happen. That's
certainly arrests for possession and stuff like that are going to go away in places where it's legal, But that doesn't mean that you can't.
But do you replace it with smoking in public?
Right. That's exactly it. And where are people smoking in public? In the fucking cities.
Yeah.
Where all your minorities are.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happens when they look at the
some money from brown people.
Of course you're going to see no more arrests for possession, but when you look at the statistics for arrests for just open consumption or whatever they may call it in that area or something like that, something revolving around them hanging out and smoking pot, it is predominantly black, Hispanic. It is minorities that are being issued these tickets. And certainly that's better than being hauled off to jail for the night or possibly even serving some time, a little bit bigger quantity on you, and they could manage to stick you with intent to distribute, right? Which is one of those man. That's like a Minority Report type of crime.
No,
almost,
officer, it's a holiday weekend. I'm just stocking up.
Right. But
going to a party.
That can be oppressive too. Having to pay a ticket when you're living paycheck to paycheck, right? You have to carve that out of your budget somewhere or choose to ignore it. And then what? You got a court date now. Now you got a bench warrant. Now the next time the cop comes by and tells you to put the joint out, we get to take this one away.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, the cop still gets their fun.
They always will. Let's put different labels on it.
And, to clarify, it's not the cops that I'm mad at. This is institutional.
Yes.
It really is. And it's driven by, it's the same way with fucking traffic tickets, It's way more the junker cars getting pulled over anyway and getting tickets for random violations. Oh, pregnant women. Yeah, we can skip that.
Oh, it's being recommended to pregnant women in Colorado.
Yeah, there was an organization that was doing a study on, like an experiment, really. They were having people pose as pregnant mothers and calling the cannabis shop. And first of all, you're calling a shop that sells cannabis, right?
Yeah.
They're not supposed to be giving out medical advice.
Correct.
Right? But if somebody says, I want to smoke, should I smoke some weed for X? Their answer is yeah, you should. You should come in and buy some weed and smoke it. Unless you're legally prohibited from doing so.
Well, I remember my one buddy's wife indulges, and when she was pregnant, she said that the doctor didn't necessarily tell her to not do it, just told her that she should stay away from it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, the doctors, they have no evidence that it's bad for a in utero baby. But they also take the doctor's oath is first do no harm, right? So why would you introduce any chaos into that?
And there's still that whole mentality of what you do, your baby does.
Right. I mean, so the baby was getting, who knows? What does that mean?
Baby comes out like Sublime.
Right. He comes out with dreadlocks. Like, I had a way baby with dreadlocks. How does this happen?
Yeah. Wants you to get it Bob Marley's Legend for its 5th birthday.
So it's kind of a sting operation, right?
For the baby?
I mean, well, no, this whole pregnant women calling in and getting recommended cannabis. It's not like these dispensaries or what do they call them for legal shops?
Recreational. They're still dispensaries.
All right. So they got to get rid of that term. Just stop calling them dispensaries. Because that's part of the reason why people are getting upset that you're recommending it for pregnant women. You know, because they think that you're supposed to be offering some sort of medical advice, I guess.
But why? But that's all the only thing that's called dispensaries, anything that has to do with weed. We don't say I'm going to the dispensary to fill my prescription.
Right.
No, you go to the pharmacy.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. It's clearly designated as, what it is. It's not a confusing term when you talk about going to the dispensary.
If we had somehow been saying all this time, hey, I'm going to go to the pharmacy and grab some trees, then there we go. Like, hey, man, let's stop calling it a pharmacy.
Well, also, this issue with recommending it, I can understand if there were shops out there that were advertising to pregnant women. Like, if you're pregnant, you should be smoking weed for whatever, because that's the thing. It's definitely good for nausea, for treatment of nausea, which
sure is.
Some women experience just in their first trimester for a short period. Others, it goes all the way through. They are nauseous and puking for 9 fucking months.
Sounds like a blast.
It does happen, and cramps and all that stuff too. I mean, these are things that, in my mind, the biggest thing, I'm not one of these holistic medicine, alternative medicine type of people. I'm a firm believer in Western science and what it can do. But one of the primary focuses, I believe, one of the primary focuses for a pregnant mother should be keeping herself healthy and happy, right?
Yeah.
Happiness is going to lead to good physical health. That's going to mean good health for the baby. And who knows, there's some, hippie vibe way. Maybe there is some happiness passed on, some knowing of love in the womb. But yeah, anxious and in pain and back and forth to the hospital. That's not a good environment to gestize a kid in.
I did check out Buzzy.io.
Our sponsor.
I like the idea. It is. It's in Southern California. So if you can hear our voice, Southern California, you can check them out. But it's basically
it's virtual. Like, couldn't you virtually travel to Budsy?
No, because it delivers you. It's a service that curates cannabis for you.
Right. So it's like having one of those high-end restaurants that you go to, and you have a space in a wine cellar,
yes,
or a rack of meat,
something like that.
And then they'll bring it to your house.
But they'll bring it to you, and then
you don't want to go to the restaurant.
And then you go on the app and you tell them what you thought about it, and then it'll start bringing you weed based on what you've told it about the weed it brings you.
That's kind of genius, because
yes,
if it's technically the property of the person that is paying the money for it, then because each adult is allowed to cultivate up to 12 plants in most states that we've seen,
something like that.
It's usually upwards of that nature. So there you go.
Yeah, it's like hit a button, get cannabis. Like they say, it says within the hour. That's a bold claim in Southern California, but hey, whatever works. I don't know your life, Budsy. You might have 55 drivers ready to go at all times.
I wonder if they have an app tracker, when I order Hungry Howie's, and I can see when they put the pizza in.
I'm
Like
gonna bring
you're
this up real
checking
quick.
it every
Make sure
day
I'm not
to-
making a bold claim for Budsy.
Checking it every day to see if your weed's ready.
Yeah, no,
But
right?
as soon as it's grown.
Yeah, does it have a tracker?
So as soon as it's grown and ready to like be harvested, they store it for you, kind of portion it out to you, right? Too. That's kind of smart.
It says the perfect high in one tap. An app that personalizes cannabis for you. Okay, it says within the hour. I was not talking shit.
Yeah, within the hour.
Damn.
So you have to live in California, of course.
Yeah, I did that because when I did ask him, I was like, "Hey, you guys only in California?" He said, "Yes, Southern California for now." So,
For now.
yeah, check them shits out, Budsy, and also check out us the blah blah blue blee blah blah on Twitter at the Weasel 420 and on Instagram at the Weasel Podcast. You can email the show weaselpodcast christophermedia.net. It's also an Amazon portal and donate button, which uses PayPal. All that fun shit. Stay high.
Stay high.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook by searching for Christopher Media. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Thank you in advance for supporting Christopher Media by clicking on the PayPal button and by clicking through to all the sponsors who support ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net, and thank you for listening. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.